All right, we will be live momentarily on YouTube.
Aren't we there now?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. You ready?
As ever.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Captain's Quarters, the unofficial Star Trek rewatch podcast, where we are rewatching the entire Star Trek franchise, starting at the beginning of the official chronology. My name is Gabe, and with my co-captain Jason. Engage, Jason.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. Hey, so we are looking at and talking about Star Trek Discovery, Season 1, Episode 3, called Context is for Kings.
Yep.
We're just getting into this series, and it's been interesting because
Say the
we
least.
we finished Enterprise, which came out like 20 years before this series, and they're very, very different. Bigger budgets, certainly different filmmaking, TV making technology as far as capabilities, different styles for sure. And I think it's safe to say this one feels way more modern than Jason and I were comfortable with.
Oh, yeah.
Modern with respect to, like, because this is a prequel to the original series, tonally and aesthetically, it doesn't appear to transition very well into the original series.
No. And I think I've heard somewhere from someone that it's interesting to see this franchise kind of move along, and the more we go back in the chronology, the more futuristic it's becoming.
Yeah.
Like, you could put, I would say that even you could put Discovery and Picard kind of like together, and you're like, oh yeah, same time, right? But no, this is
Right.
Discovery is set 10 years before the days of Kirk and Spock.
That is kind of wild to think
It's
about.
wild. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
It blows my brain.
And, we tend to think about technology as being on a linear trajectory as far as advancement. I think it's the 10 years thing is tough. If it had been 100 years or something, you could say that, things got bad and then they had to ramp back up, and that explains why things looked the way they looked in the original series, because Starfleet had fallen on rough times or something. Right. But 10 years is hard.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard to explain away that one.
Yeah.
And I can already hear people say, well, don't you watch Strange New Worlds? And the answer to that is yes, I do. And I love it. And I'm going to be called a hypocrite here because I don't mind the new tech around Strange New Worlds as much. And I think it has something to do with how great the storytelling is, the characters, and all that kind of stuff. And there's too many other things, too many other ingredients in that series that kind of masks or overcomes the futuristic kind of feel to what Strange New Worlds brings. So I just want to put that out there.
Okay. And that's the children's one, right?
No, 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 no. Strange New Worlds. You're thinking of Star Trek Prodigy. Strange New Worlds is the live action Pike Enterprise days.
Oh, sorry. Wow, I was way off. That's embarrassing. Okay. But I'm a purist here, okay? I am literally watching because, if for some reason you're watching or listening to this and don't know, I have never seen Star Trek other than Star Trek, The Next Generation when I was a kid.
And Enterprise.
And now Enterprise. Yeah, but I mean, before this endeavor. And so I am literally going episode by episode through the timeline. Yeah. And so, the only reason I know what Picard is because I saw commercials for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
and that's the next one. After we wrap Discovery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll be Strange New Worlds is the next.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Iteration before we get to the original series.
Got it. Okay. Well, so in this episode, where we're at now is that the lead character, Michael Burnham, a female character who was raised by Vulcans, she was arrested and charged, court-martialed with mutiny because there was a conflict with the Klingons. She felt that they should perform the Vulcan hello, where you strike first, which is what Klingons will respond to. She mutinied in order to try to achieve that end and failed. A war started, court-martialed, sentenced to life. On the shuttle to camp, physical labor camp. What do you call it?
Probably a penal colony.
Yeah, like a penal colony. But they were gonna she was sentenced to labor, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were mining. Camp.
Yeah.
They were gonna be mining. On the way, the shuttle breaks down and the shuttle's captain dies. And at that moment, this Starfleet ship, Discovery, beams up the prisoners. Michael is given a task on the ship. She meets the bad guy from The Patriot, who I meant to look up his name and I forgot to. That's not Lorik, is it?
Lorca.
Lorca?
Yeah, okay. Captain Lorca.
Captain Lorca.
Yeah.
So famous British actor, right?
Yes.
I know him as the bad guy from The Patriot. I think he's in Black Hawk Down.
Was he?
Black Hawk Down?
I don't know. I don't
He's
know.
A very, very good actor. I would say he's, in the aughts.
Yeah, he's Lucius Malfoy, Draco Malfoy's dad.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. He was I know him from he was Marshal Georgy Zhukov in The Death of Stalin. And then Vasily no, I'm sorry. No, and then Captain Hook in Peter Pan from
That's right.
2002, 3. Oh my.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. He was Captain Hook.
Perfect Captain Hook.
Yes.
I mean, he's the embodiment of Captain Hook.
Yes. Right. Well, although for me, right next to Dustin Hoffman.
Okay. Yeah. Jason has a soft spot for 80s movies. Hey, you know which one we never talked
90s
about?
Movies? It was in 90s movies, wasn't it? Wasn't Hook
Oh
a 90s
well,
movie?
no, you're right. You're
Was
right. But
it?
I lump it in with
Oh,
Back to
okay,
the
okay.
Future,
Oh, okay, okay.
movies of our generation.
Yeah, we're aging
You
ourselves.
know which one? You know which one we never talk about is
Which one?
Honey, I Shrunk the
Oh,
Kids.
I love Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But there's never like, is there ever a, is there ever context for like when we like ever use? I mean, we haven't done a Thanksgiving episode. We're not eating cereal.
Yeah, but I feel like we've talked at length about Ghostbusters and
Oh
Back to
yeah,
the
we have.
Future,
Oh, for sure.
constantly referencing those.
Oh, for
But I
sure.
mean, like in my head, Rick Moranis is such a huge piece of that whole era.
Yeah.
And just
Little Giants is another.
you talk about Spaceballs pretty often. So
Yes, absolutely. I
yeah.
mean, Dark Helmet.
Mhm. Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, everybody. We've gone.
we we need to, but we do need to weave in more Honey I Shrunk the Kids
Yes, we
into
do.
our
Yes, we do.
discussions.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Anyway, the actor's
Zelensky.
name is Jason Isaacs
Yeah.
is his name, and that's what a good actor he is. I completely forgot he was Lucius Malfoy.
Yes. Yes.
But
It must be. Do you
anyway,
think it was the? Do you think it's the blonde, the long blonde
no, that helps.
locks?
Yeah, but it's also that he's just such a good actor. Like
Yes, he
he's
is.
just amazing.
Yes, he is.
Because in this show, no hint of an English accent. Um,
Zero.
yeah.
But you,
So
at the same time, and this is one of the things that I like about this show, is that he's not, he's unlike any other captain.
right,
I mean, Cisco is,
he's cagey.
yeah, Cisco is pretty close, but not like this seedy, this, yes, exactly, cagey kind of
Yeah,
vibe thing, which I love.
yeah. We should note before we move on is that
Hmm.
the reason the shuttle broke down is there was these like microorganisms that eat electricity or something that attacked the shuttle and made it stop, and then the captain of the shuttle did like a spacewalk to try to resolve it, and that's how she died. That's important because later on, actually, we'll get there.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
so
I was about
so anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So Captain Lorca beams up the shuttle. The other prisoners, not so much, but he's very interested in Burnham,
Yeah.
assigns her duty, and kind of like makes it sound like, I don't want you here, but while you're here, I'm going to put you to work. So puts her in engineering. There's lots of walls and secrets on this ship. There's people are hush hush about certain things. There's certain like restricted areas and so you kind of don't really know what's going on. Burnham is able to figure out that there is experiments that they're doing with like spores, mycelium, and uh, one of the people in engineering is a scientist who was working on this experiment, kind of started this experiment with his partner. His partner was on the USS Glenn, mm-hmm. and the Glenn's crew gets killed mysteriously. Mm-hmm. So they form a boarding party, and they go to the Glenn, and all of the crew is like mangled and twisted, and it's straight out of Alien. Very like straight out of Alien. So everything's dark and there's like long corridors, and there's like an alien who's like running across the screen and you can't quite see it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also Klingons who apparently had come across this this ship, this ghost ship, and they were attacked. So this boarding party is coming after those two groups were killed by this alien or whatever. And finally, the alien is revealed, and it's like, like kind of a lion mixed with a plant mixed with an octopus. I don't know. It's just like a chimera, basically. And it chases them off the shuttle and kills one of the crew. That's it, though. Just one of them dies. They get back to Discovery, and Lorca reveals that he wants Burnham to join his ship, and her sentence will be commuted, I guess. He has the power to do that because he was told, do whatever it takes to win this war, the war with the Klingons. And she says no initially because she says, we just got attacked by this alien. I've seen the experiments that you're running. I'm basically gonna be a patsy. I'm gonna be your fall guy because these biological weapons that you're building, she assumes, are explicitly forbidden by the Geneva Conventions. And it was interesting because she quoted the Geneva Conventions, apparently that were still in place from like 1928. And she said, explicitly forbidden. I'm not going to do it. And Lorca says, actually, you're wrong. Let me show you what it really is. And it's this mycelium network that enables like basically instant travel all over the universe through this mycelium network. And he's like, that's what I'm building, and we're going to use it to win the war. And that's pretty much the episode in a nutshell.
That was fantastic synopsis, as always.
Thank you. So I am enjoying this, and I know that it was jarring to go from Enterprise to this for sure, because it's just so different, and there was a lot of things that basically seemed to like kind of retcon the lore with the Klingons. It was a big one.
Yeah.
But this episode in particular, I thought was pretty good. And I like how we're finally meeting other crew members.
Yeah.
That was a big issue with the other ones. We were like just kind of having run-ins with other characters who weren't sticking around and were gonna die on a completely different ship. But it's kind of cool to meet this other crew, because Star Trek has always been that type of show. It's always been an ensemble, so the engineering head of engineering was a guy I recognize from, I think it's Dazed and Confused. And then
Rent.
Is that his name?
No. It's, I know him from Rent. Anthony Rapp.
Saw Rent. Never saw Rent.
You've never seen Rent? Okay. Yeah, he was Mark Cohen in Rent. That's what I know him from.
Okay.
Is he? He must be from something else as well, too, obviously, that you recognize him from.
I only recognize him from Dazed and Confused.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so interesting enough, he plays an astromycologist named Paul Stamets, and there is actually a real Paul Stamets that they borrowed his name, and not the same job, but he is a pretty well-known mycologist here in the Northwest and globally, and his name's Paul Stamets.
Really?
Yeah. Fun fact. Yeah.
That was not unintentional, right?
No, I do not think that was unintentional. I think it was very intentional.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That's a cool little piece of trivia.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
the other one I just wanted to
Yeah.
mention before we forget. So the creature to me, even though we got glimpses of it, looked
Mhm.
to me like a tardigrade.
Oh, okay. What's
Yeah.
that?
Um, it's like an 8-legged micro animal.
Oh, okay.
That have been found in the deep sea, rainforests, everywhere, in a lot of different regions of the Earth's biosphere. So that to me, and I'm wondering, because they named, you know, um, the astromycologist named after Paul Stamets, I'm curious if this creature is also called a tardigrade, but I don't know. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a
That would
bigger
line up.
version, obviously, of it.
Yeah.
And it would make sense if it's able to like move and be part of this mycelial net. Okay, this part. So this part I actually find really, really interesting is that there is more and more research being done about mycelial networks underneath the surface of the earth, just in like Pacific Northwest rainforests and things like that, and how it can be this huge network,
Mhm.
just like your central nervous system, and it's just in the ground. And I'm not explaining it well, but like this huge network of
Sure.
underground, synapses and things like that. So that part is really, really interesting and a lot of fun to see
Yeah.
if there is a mycelial space world, and maybe even like alien mushroom kind of like mycological humanoid aliens that exist in this plane, which I think it could be fun to explore. Although I hear
Yeah.
this
And
sounds like Legends of the Wills, if you're a Star Wars fan.
yeah, but isn't there already an established like subspace uh
Oh, a subspace
um
mycological
no
network.
yeah, like wasn't there already a Mycelian Empire or something in
Oh
Star Trek?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, in Star Trek?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
I swear in Enterprise, I know in Enterprise there was a mycelium episode, but I thought it was
Oh,
a
yes, yes, yes,
reference
yes, yes, yes,
to the
yes.
original series.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, there could have been. Oh man, I don't remember now.
Okay.
Oh, that does not bode well for me as a Star Trek fan. Oh. Oh, but yeah, no, it could be.
No, yeah, well, I wish I wish I could remember like because I thought it was an episode where there was aliens who had been referenced before. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe, man, I'm gonna have to research this maybe
Okay,
next
okay,
episode and bring it up.
okay, okay.
But I swear there was an episode where we talked about this, how there was this like mycelium kingdom, and they inhabited some sort of subspace or some sort of alternate dimension, and
Oh,
it was established in Star Trek.
oh,
But if you don't
interesting.
remember,
I
if you don't remember,
don't.
it's
I just
okay.
remember the episode in Enterprise where there was this mycelial being that was taking control of the crew, or that would kind of spider web and capture
Yeah,
part of the
I
crew.
remember that. I remember that. I want to say
Oof.
that was different.
Yeah.
You know, next episode,
Okay.
if you're listening or watching this, this will be a reason to tune in next time so we can
Exactly. If you're
either
not,
see if I made something up whole
another good
cloth or
reason.
what. So
Another good reason. Oh,
another good reason. Yeah. So um okay. So anyway, so I I'm enjoying this show. Uh I like how um it's like suspenseful, but it's not forcing it too much. It's not like the first two episodes there it was so chaotic and there's so much action happening, but
mhm.
now it's like um it's taking its time a little bit more, but it's I don't know, it's like believable or something. And I feel like I'm getting to know the characters and I'm enjoying it. And honestly, the other thing, Jason, I feel like they kind of toned down some of the style choices. Like the crew the board of this ship didn't feel as futuristic as maybe it did in episode 1.
Oh,
Um
okay, okay,
and so I just think they're being maybe a little bit more intentional about some stuff, and I like
okay.
that. But I also like how they are so the thing about Burnham is that she's famous for being this mutineer.
Yeah.
She's like the first one to ever commit mutiny in
Mhm.
Starfleet.
Mhm.
And so all of the crew of this Discovery are afraid of her, but she's infamous. And
Cheers.
it's a very she's very, very infamous. So like literally when she walks through a room, everyone kind of stops what they're doing and like stares at her, and they're kind of scared of her and they don't know what to do. And it was just such an interesting choice with the storytelling because it's so unheard of for something like this for the star character to be basically like an anti-hero like this.
Yeah.
But a whole other take on anti-hero because like a lot of times they're like descending into the darkness where she's like starting in it and climbing out of it. And I don't know if I've ever really experienced anything like that. So I think it's a really cool choice, especially for Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up because I was trying to think about it and I'm glad and I was going to ask you, I'm like, because you're definitely much more of the, the fantasy, the um science fiction kind of fan. And I'm
Mhm.
curious, and I was going to ask you, has there been a character that you've seen or read about or read or, whatever, that has kind of been like this in a way and be the main character and have like be that respectable character and then have this
Mhm.
major downturn quickly and then now be this kind of
Villain.
outcast villain kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
nothing comes to mind, man.
Okay.
So it's an interesting approach. I'm enjoying it. Um, you know, we did talk about last time, our last 2 episodes, we talk about the
Hmm.
appearance of the Klingons,
Yeah.
how they're way different. I did want to touch on that because
Okay.
I think that perhaps I don't have confirmation of this, but it's possible that the creators of this show were trying to right the wrong of a perception of the portrayal of Klingons from previous iterations, where there's some sort of racial coding. And I watched a video
Oh,
about this,
interesting.
and the idea is that the original design of Klingons, that
Mongolian
the
warriors.
Yeah, the makeup artists
The
based it on Mongolian
blackface.
warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Mm-hmm.
that evolved into literally white actors wearing blackface.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And perhaps back in the day those things wouldn't have been called out, but like now it's
Yeah.
like it that people are fortunately more aware
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
conscious of these things.
Yeah.
And although I don't have anything saying that Discovery chose this redesign in to be aware of that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably pretty likely
I could see
that.
that. Yeah. Now that you bring that
Yeah.
up, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
and
No,
and I don't I
that's
don't
a
know if
really
they
good point.
succeeded. I do wonder if they could have accomplished it, um maybe in a less jarring way.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would look like.
I think if they
I
would
don't
have
know.
given him hair, right? The long,
Yeah.
that long Klingon hair, but again, stylistic. Yeah, that's a really good point. And I respect that. If that's I would respect that for sure. If that's
Yeah.
if indeed what that was. Because like I said
Mhm.
before, you know, I think this was the first time they adhered to the language, to the Klingon language. Like that's all they spoke, right? When we saw Takuvma and Valk and all the other
Right.
Klingon characters.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, that I could definitely see that for sure.
Yeah. And you know, I don't know if it was before we started recording, but you're talking about Lord of the Rings. So, like
This
a
was
lot
before,
of
yeah.
times, yeah. So that's one of the issues with Lord of the Rings, which I love. I love Lord of the Rings, but it has this issue of basically all of the good guys are white, and um, and they have a way of juxtapositioning purity with impurity,
Yeah,
using light versus dark.
yeah.
And like the elves are like kind of the highest order, and they're like the whitest people ever with
Uh,
long blonde hair. But then like the Urukai is basically guys in blackface. I mean, that's really what it is in the
the
movies. And
Orakai? You mean the orcs?
so the Urukai are like a hybrid of orcs. And
Oh.
yeah. So
Oh.
So, well, I mean, the orcs
Interesting.
too are definitely um, along those lines, and so that's one of the problems with Lord of the Rings. But apparently, Gene Roddenberry was a huge fan of Tolkien, and
Yes.
and I believe he was a veteran of World War II, maybe.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
Yes. He
so
was
there's just
pilot.
all these things. There's all these things pointing at him kind of following that path of that, but then like having the bad guys being to him who were the bad guys, which is
Yeah.
um Asians. So
Yeah. 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 I that's possible. I mean, that's totally possible for sure. That's definitely possible for sure.
but not even I don't know if he like thought that way, but like just there was these
Yeah. Oh, for
biases
sure.
that like, okay, well, what would a bad guy look like? And then they
Yeah.
choose Fu Manchu
Yeah.
mustache,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Even so,
I
even for me, when I was, growing up watching the show, I'm like, oh man, that's Genghis
I
Khan
see.
kind of deal.
I never put it together until I watched this thing about it. I was like, oh yeah, that is
Hmm.
Genghis Khan. I never
Yeah.
even um I don't know, just like the ridged head is just like so just draws your attention so
Yeah.
much. I wasn't even thinking about the mustache and stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
But you
Anyway,
know, it's at the same time though, and I'm not, and I don't defend it whatsoever. Um, but at the same time, you know, if you go back to Tolkien, and you know, if it did have if he did have a an impact on Gene Roddenberry, is that it's also an inexpensive, a easy way to storytell, right? To make it black is good. I mean, I'm sorry, white, you know, the color, any iteration of
mhm.
that is good. And then
Yeah,
dark, you know, orcs and the Uruk-hai and Klingons are, you know, bad.
yeah. Well, and then what's interesting about that is so Vok, the
Yes.
lead bad guy, they chose the white one.
Yes. Yes. Even though he's
And
outcast in Klingon society.
yeah, but I think we get the feeling he's going to ascend to the highest ranks, right? And basically
That's
be
it.
the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I could see that
And
for
it's
sure.
all and it feels very intentional. And I do wonder if the intention is the main bad guy is going to be white.
Could be.
He's still
Could be.
still Klingon, but
Yeah. Could be. I mean, yeah, no, I agree with you that he could be probably the one that is the one that unites the Klingon Empire and the houses, um, the great houses of the Klingon Empire. That's going to be interesting.
the light of Kalis.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so the question is, do we think that Lorca used his mycelia to stop the shuttle to force Burnham into the situation, given that her shuttle was attacked by microorganisms? Do we think Lorca orchestrated this whole thing?
So I think he
To,
illustrated to a very large degree. Yes. Whether it's not clear to me if the spore drive is working yet.
but do you think that he attacked her prison shuttle at the beginning and it wasn't just an accident, an incident,
That's interesting.
that it's a conspiracy that he
Oh, that's interesting. That
just to
he
get his
engineered
hands
it
on Michael?
even that far.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to hear what you think, because you obviously
Yeah, they I mean they
wondered about that.
when they show him alone, they're playing this really ominous music, and I mean it might as well be, the Imperial March, like from Star Wars. Like
Yeah.
they're very clearly trying to portray him as like a sinister guy. And
Yes.
I think for sure, I think he is like Machiavellian like that, where he's like doing whatever it takes to win the war, including killing a Starfleet prison transport captain
Uh-huh.
just so he can get his hands on Burnham, because Burnham is like so brilliant, raised by Vulcans, went through the
Yeah.
Vulcan Academy, and he needs her he's just sees her as his asset that he's got to get his hands on. So I think for sure that's what happened.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't even think about it because we don't like, do we even know how long from when she was on the Shenzhou to when she's on
That was
that
going to be
prison
one of my
shuttle?
questions. That was going
Okay.
to be one of my questions for you, is how much time has passed?
Yeah, I don't know. I months probably.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think it's months.
maybe a year.
Maybe. Yeah, I agree.
And maybe that's why Lorca is so desperate that. So are we under an agreement? Do we agree that the war is underway in the background?
Yeah, that was one downside I thought of this episode was the lack of, like, it wasn't apparent that a war was going on with the
Yeah.
Klingons.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like battles with the Klingons. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, you would have thought there'd be a little bit more action if they're in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
Like the Klingons don't mess around.
So do
But
you see the first two episodes, Vulcan Hello and then Battle at the Binary Stars, as more of like a prologue, and this episode, context is for Kings, as the chapter one, kind of like the first episode, like a pilot, or the first episode of like what Discovery is going to be moving forward? Like I
I
kind of
think so.
see. So from like the way that they set this up, for me, that those first two episodes is kind of like the pre-credit sequence, specifically of like a James Bond movie, where
Okay.
where you're like, okay, you can have fun with it, and then but still provide a little background. And now
Mm.
here's the move, and now here's what the show is
Yeah,
going to be.
for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Fortunately for us, because we weren't the biggest fans of that part. And now I think maybe we're into something that for me I like more. So
Okay. So the other thing
yeah.
too is I wanted to ask you about Cadet Tilly and what you
Okay.
think about her. And then I know it wasn't like the biggest moment. It wasn't a long moment in the episode. But I really, for me, Saru and that interaction between him and Burnham really takes center stage, as much as Lorca kind of inserts himself into that
Yeah,
conversation.
I think that's one of the things I wanted to reference earlier when I was talking about what I liked about the episode. I thought
Oh,
that
good.
like
Oh, go ahead.
that his acting and the interactions between them, when I was talking about character development, I think that was probably the best example.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And just just like how he's like, she's the smartest officer I've ever worked with, but yet he's still wary of her, and just I don't know, just a lot of authenticity there, and honestly, really impressive mask makeup design.
Oh yeah.
What
Oh
like what
yeah.
is going on? Is he like a really tall actor or something, or is he
I
on?
think so. I think so.
And like he's not okay. This is a stupid question, but he's not CGI, right? He's a
No,
guy
no. Yeah,
in
yeah,
a
yeah.
mask,
No.
right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. Yeah, I think so.
It's pretty incredible the character they created there. That
It's funny.
it doesn't look like a mask.
Yeah, I've been meaning, now that you bring that up, I've been meaning to kind of look up Doug Jones, the actor who plays Saru, and what he's been in before,
Okay.
and how
He,
tall he actually is.
how tall is he?
My guess is like he's like 6'6", 5", maybe. I don't know.
He's got to be huge.
Yeah, he's got to be really,
Or
really
or
tall.
he's standing, or he has stilts or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. And were you asking me about her like desk mate?
yeah. Her roommate, bunkmate,
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia
Bunkmate.
Tilly.
Oh, I forgot they also are roommates. They share a desk and they share a
Yeah, they
room.
do. Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know. I'm undecided about her. I thought it was
Okay.
interesting that she said she's going to be captain someday. I was like, okay, wow, because she doesn't come across as like a standout.
Right.
Um, but that was, we'll see what happens there. I don't know, man. What about you? What do you think?
Uh, yeah, I find her character. It's gonna be really interesting to way they. I don't want to say too much because I have thoughts, but I don't want to say too much.
Okay,
Because
interesting.
it's got a yeah, she's got a she's got some quirks that I enjoy, that I like, and then also like, oh, that was odd.
All right.
I know that wasn't fully fleshed out, but you know, um,
It's all
yeah.
good. So, what about the episode in general, though? What did you think of it? What rating would you
Um,
give it?
oh man, I was thinking about it, and there were a lot of really good things that I really really like. So I'm gonna give this one a probably a 2.5 pips. A lieutenant
Okay,
commander episode.
out of four.
Uh, yeah, out of 4.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So, not terrible.
not terrible, not terrible. Um, Fun, interesting, a horror episode, as we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier.
Hmm.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I'd give it like, if I was using your ranking,
Hmm.
well, it has to be in halves. That's how that works. No, I'd give it like a solid B or B plus.
Okay. Okay.
I'm obviously abandoning your thing. Now I'm back
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah. No, I'm
letter
glad you're
grades.
giving it a grade.
So, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was an interesting take on the anti-hero thing. And I'm definitely bought in. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And I
'Cause
wanted to
I'm
ask
I'm
you,
really interesting. I'm really interested in seeing if Gabriel Lorca is gonna be around in the long haul.
right? He'd be a big get to have for a whole series, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
is so you theorized that her adoptive father was Spock's father.
Yes, Sarek, yes.
So in this episode, she talks about her upbringing, and she said there's a child with her growing up.
Yes.
Do you think that was Spock?
Yes.
And then she mentions that the mother's name was Amanda, I believe. Was that Spock's
Yes.
mom's
That's
name?
Spock's mom.
Okay, so this is confirmed. It's no
Yes.
longer just a theory, it is
No.
confirmed.
Yeah. She was raised by Sarek and Amanda Grayson and brought
Amanda
up.
Grayson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
Huh.
Yeah. The the So yeah, that they were raised as brother and sister.
Okay. Confirmed then.
Yeah.
Because it's just a theory before, right?
Yes. Yes. There were hints of it. Um.
Hmm.
And again, I think Spock would say, I think Spock, if you were to ask him, if you were like Kirk or someone, like, you know, why didn't you tell me, or why didn't you tell us that you had a sister or a sibling or whatever? He Spock's character would probably say, I did not think it was appropriate to divulge aspects of a personal matter, right? Something that he said about his parents and Cybok, his half brother, and so it's gonna be it'll be interesting to see how they kind of weave that into the story and into
Okay.
the canon, actually, I should say.
Got it. So definitely a strange choice to not only have her like raised by Vulcans, but they just had to throw in the Spock thing, you know?
Yeah, it is a strange choice. And like we talk about in Star Wars, when we do talk about Star Wars, is that there are times when it's like, okay, it doesn't always have to be part of the Skywalker family. The galaxy is big
Mm-hmm.
enough, obviously,
Yeah,
um, to have more characters.
right.
And I would argue, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but I think it would be much more interesting if she wasn't raised with Spock, or a different Vulcan family.
Yeah, I see. I think this is a case of just pure unabashed fan service,
Yeah, I was going to ask you that exact question.
which is unfortunate
Yeah,
because, I mean, literally nobody would
yeah,
care one way or the other.
yeah.
This definitely did not earn any points for the show,
No,
and no one would have deducted points for the lack of a tie-in
yeah,
to that degree or whatever. So just it was just weird.
yeah,
It creates more holes than it helps, because now it's like, okay, well, where's your brother? Or um
yeah.
why is he not in these flashbacks? Or why are you not? I mean, maybe they'll bring back in, they'll have an
And to
actor
have
play Spock.
two of Sarek's children join Starfleet and not the
Yeah.
Vulcan Science Academy. Whoa, that's got to be, yeah.
Yeah. Well, was there anything else with this one that you wanted to talk about?
No, no, no. I think. Do you think that we're heading back into the Klingon War, though?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. Like next
Yeah.
episode kind of deal.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna test out some of these mycelia on the Klingons, see what happens. Take it for a spin.
Yeah,
Seems logical, right?
yeah.
Well, should we talk Star Wars?
Ahsoka? Yeah,
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Anyone
yeah.
listening hasn't. So we're on what, episode 5 or 6?
Six,
6. Okay.
six. Yeah,
Called
because you met
far.
Thrawn, right?
Yeah.
You've
Far,
met.
far
Okay,
away.
so we're on episode 6, live action
Yeah.
Thrawn
Yeah. Far, far away.
in a galaxy a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
So, can I just say that here's like another nail in the coffin of my love for David Tennant,
Okay.
that he is the voice of Hu Yang.
Okay.
And yes, just another fantastic performance from David
Okay.
Tennant. My favorite modern Doctor from Doctor Who.
Got it. Okay. Is that a franchise you follow, Doctor Who?
Yes, yes.
How much of it, what percentage of Doctor Who would you say you've kept up with?
Ooh. 20, 30.
Okay.
Not a lot. Because it's not easy to find the 60s.
Okay.
It's not easy to find episodes from the 60s and the full series going back to the 60s.
Sure. Got it. Okay. Well, I was going to say this gives credence to your theory that Star Wars is told from the perspective of the droids. Like you've always said that it's told from the perspective of 3PO and R2D2.
Mm-hmm.
This episode seems to allude to the fact that it is that it's droids are telling the story, that Hu Yang is telling the story of Star Wars, because him and Ahsoka have to pass time.
Right.
He starts telling the story of Star Wars to her.
Interesting. I did not take it that far. I did. Yeah. But all right. Yeah.
And then Balin makes a similar comment. He's like, well, we're in another galaxy in another time or whatever. And he says something like that also alludes to, like, I mean, I think at a minimum it was trying to say, like, why do we say it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just talking about the nature of storytelling and how and its relationship to the past. I don't remember exactly what he says, but it seems like that's what they were trying to address.
Right.
So, but yeah, we met Ezra, and we saw Ezra, and turns out he's been chilling with some like a caravan sort of group for a bit. Some like turtle
snails.
Caravans.
Yeah, some turtle snails.
Yeah.
Which did that? Okay, was that Ewokish? Like
very.
Did that
it was also
take
Jawa.
You back to very Jawa Ewokish kind of deal?
Absolutely. Yeah. That seemed very intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was fun. Because I was like, oh, okay, this is exactly very much Ewokish kind of vibe going on here, that he's hanging out with them in this hippie camping group.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
So you mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Star Trek Discovery stuff that I had mentioned about Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to take us back to episode 5.
Okay.
Did Ahsoka not become Gandalf the White or whatever after she has her dream
she's
sequence?
Sent back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Anakin.
I know what you're saying. She was sent back, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that lines up.
When she recovers, she's in the white. She's in a very white outfit kind of deal going on.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
the white. I like that.
Is this a Gandalf thing?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a Jesus thing. Jesus, right.
Okay.
He comes back from the dead, from the grave.
Sure.
And I think he's haloed in white.
Sure.
When he does so.
Sure. What'd you think of that?
But it's like a sacrifice, right? He's like being sacrificed for the betterment of others type thing. So
what'd you think of the Anakin Skywalker from episode 5?
I thought that was great. I thought that was brilliant. Some of the best like episodic Star Wars we've gotten. I thought that was pretty good. That was really good fan service. That was like clearly fan service, but it was done very well. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
To take him back to Clone Wars was,
Mhm.
I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Sure. Yeah, and I liked the idea that his spirit, although it is like one with the Force, is still adulterated by the dark side. Like he still is something he still contends with.
Yeah.
I like that. Like that was interesting. Well, just be like I could just see. I have like a Filoni in my head. It's like, well, just because he became one with the Force doesn't mean that he isn't still like battling his demons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's got to be.
The cinematography
That's true.
was fantastic on that one.
Sure.
As he's walking,
Yeah.
and then it kind of, flashes to a Darth Vader silhouette.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I don't think that was a dream. I think she literally was in the world between worlds.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which,
all right.
Which enables people to transcend space and time.
Sure. I just wasn't sure. And then it gives us and then interestingly, it gave us a little bit of insight into Jason, Syndulla, that he's got, Force abilities from.
Okay.
Did I miss something, by the way? When did Kanan and Hera have a child? Or is that kind of like in between?
Last time when we were talking about the shot for shot animated versus this, how they did like a live action version of the animated last episode. I went back and watched the last part of that animated episode. I didn't realize there was a time jump. So they do time jump. And so they were together, and then
right,
she was pregnant, and then the kid's born 9 years later. So
right. Okay.
Do I need to have the birds and the bees talk with you, Jason?
No. I don't remember. I just didn't remember that she was pregnant. It's been a long time. It's been a while.
I don't know that she was like, showing, but for sure in the animated one, in the sequence that was then reshot for the live action, for sure in that final part, she has a kid.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't remember that. It's been a while since I've seen Rebels.
When they jump forward.
Okay. I didn't remember that. Okay.
So, yeah. The three
the Great Mothers. Yes.
Dathomiri, is that what they're called?
Yeah. Dathomir.
Dathomir. Thank you.
Yeah.
The witches.
Dathomir. Yeah.
Clearly a Shakespeare Greek mythology reference, right? With the threads,
yes, absolutely.
Threads of fate.
Absolutely. Which I have found to be, it's really interesting to see this play out in the Star Wars universe. I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. Morgan Elsbeth and the Great Mothers. And speaking of that, what is going on in those crates? What are they moving?
Oh, in the which are we on episode 6 now?
Yeah.
Okay. What are the like clone troopers moving? The stormtroopers, I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
They're not just like supplies?
No, I don't think so. It made it feel like it was vital to Thrawn's plan
Hmm.
to rising again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I just assumed it was like their equipment. But they were literally moving. I mean, they're moving from their home, their current home, to back to the other galaxy. But
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right.
I don't quite know how those troopers got there, though. Because I thought that Ezra only pulled Thrawn himself into the whales at
So
the end of the
that's
animated
what I
series.
thought I remembered too. But then I also have a vision of him throwing his, well, obviously him and his Star Destroyer
Hmm. I
into.
thought it was literally like Ezra and Thrawn like wrapped up in each other's arms, like in the whale's mouth or something.
Yeah, so that's what I thought too. But then I also have this vision in my head where it's like, maybe not. And he throws him back into the ship. And
Hmm.
then somehow the whales, as they jump, pulls, and you're gonna have to help me remember um Drawn Star Destroyer because they recreate, because they did it for live action.
Hmm.
With that big Chiss logo thing underneath it. Because it's
Okay.
got a name. Thrawn's Star Destroyer has a name. And I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, that's
Wow.
cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, I thought that actor did very well. And that's Mad's brother, right? That's your
Yes,
boy.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
And other than Darth Vader,
fantastic.
can I just say, I'm gonna say that there's no, other than Darth Vader and Yoda, I should say, there's no voice to me that fits that character more than Lars Mikkelsen.
Okay, sure.
That deep, you know,
Hmm.
kind of um
Yeah,
uh
fantastic actor.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm glad they brought him back to play him in live action.
For sure.
And then can I also
Um,
say I wanted to get your I'm really liking the way that they wrote Balin Skulls, like his character.
yeah. See, I think he's awesome. I think he's like my favorite bad guy since like Darth Vader,
Uh
for sure.
I don't know if I see him as a bad guy though.
Yeah, well, I know that's so you say that, and yet literally the instant we met him, he walks onto a Republic ship
Yes.
and impales a guy with a lightsaber, an
Yes.
innocent officer, but he's not a
Yes.
bad guy.
Yes. But that's the thing though, like, right? It's like the vision that he wants, or the vision that he has to break the cycle of
Hmm.
Jedi, Sith, Jedi, Sith, Jedi, Sith. I was like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Like the new beginning of whatever he wants, of
Hmm.
kind of like oh, I'm gonna get raked over the coals on this one, but the the snap kind of thing where it's like, kind of like resetting the galaxy, like, okay, no more
Hmm.
no more Sith, no more Jedi. Can we just have a little peace in whatever meaning you want to take that? I'm like,
Hmm.
that's kind of cool.
Okay, he's a bad guy, Jason.
Okay, fine. One person's bad guy is another one's hero.
Yeah, him and Palin. That's like your whole thing where you don't think Dooku's a bad guy, and even though he commits atrocity after atrocity after atrocity.
Yeah, again, you'll find that many of these things come to our own certain point of view.
I don't know, man. It's pretty black and white when you just impale and innocent men with the lightsaber, but it's not good.
So we find out that Baylan Skull was a general during the Clone Wars and just kind of disappeared for the last however long.
Yeah. Yep. Um, and then what do you think the presence that he felt on the planet was at the end?
Oh, yeah, I think that's I think that's a very strong, and I haven't decided in my mind yet, and I wanted to get your reaction too about it. I just think it's kind of like a Dagobah where there's just a lot of force stuff going on. And I don't know whether it's good or bad, like light or dark, or like a combination of it, right? I just think I think it's one of those force heavy sensitive planets.
For sure. That, I mean, it kind of has to be. That's why the whales use it, because those planets are like the on this like superhighway where like the world
Yes.
between worlds has entry points, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do wonder though if it's for foreshadowing that maybe Ezra has turned to the dark side. And
Oh,
because
wow.
like what has he been doing for 9 years? There's a lot of possibilities that he uh there's a lot, and it'd be a good way to explain away Ezra's absence later on in the, you know,
That he gets
episode
killed.
7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Well, do we think that that's because here's the thing, right? Like, I've been seeing more and more comments about it in this, like, okay, well, where's Ahsoka been? You know, do we have to explain it, or can they have just been in the
See, I think
background a little
though,
bit?
see, I think in like Rogue One, that's why they killed everyone off. I
Right.
think they didn't want to retcon episode 4,
Right.
even though having an Andor walking around wouldn't have been the worst thing. But I do wonder if that same
just
logic would kick
plop
in.
just plop Cassian walking around in the background with
Yeah,
uh with uh with Jin Urso,
anywhere.
like hand in
Yeah,
hand in the bar.
yeah. In the
just
cantina scene.
just
Yeah,
throw him into the cantina scene. Oh, there he is.
yeah.
Where's Waldo and Jin? Like,
Not nearly as disruptive as having like a bunch of Jedi walking around later when you have a whole movie called The Last Jedi, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I is this gonna get multiple seasons? Do we know? Because it's 2 episodes left.
yeah, man. I don't know.
And yeah.
No idea.
And
It's definitely not Ahsoka's show though. It's Sabine's show. She's the star, which is weird. And I almost feel like he didn't want to call it Sabine, even though he wanted to make a show about Sabine.
uh-huh.
Like, there's been at least 3 episodes when she gets all the screen time.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. And they've done that before though, right? With Book of Boba Fett, where it's like, oh,
That's
we're
true.
getting
Yeah.
Din Djarin,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
a heavy Din Djarin. So I
Mm-hmm.
was curious, do you think they could have written it any other way of bringing
Which
of her
part?
of Sabine not destroying the map and kind of going along
Hmm.
with Balin.
Um. Well, yeah, for sure. I thought they were going to use the world between worlds to just like
Oh.
walk across the universe this way.
Oh.
But this way makes sense too. Riding a ship in a whale's mouth.
That was the I was like, "Oh, come on. Seriously? Destroy the thing. Don't fall into."
I do like this sort of like gentleman's agreement thing with Balin and
Yes.
Sabine and Thrawn and Sabine. Like, you have my word. Go ahead.
Although Thrawn is going to either kill them all or leave them.
Yeah, right.
But then I think obviously Ahsoka and Hu Yang are going to come to the rescue if they are
Hmm.
abandoned, right, or presumed killed.
Right. But I don't know what to expect. I really don't. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like,
Are you enjoying the more of the mythology kind of stuff?
um,
The Great Mothers and Morgan Elsbeth and kind of and the Purrgil themselves and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. Um, yeah, I think I like the way that he's doing it for sure. Um, it's I think it's been great just all around, just great production, great writing. I love the pacing of it too. Like
Yeah.
that he lets things simmer. Um, yeah, it's all good, man.
Okay. So you think
Second best show after
so you
Andor.
think Ezra is a dark side user now, potentially?
I thought that the meeting between him and Sabine was a little uncanny. There was something off about it. And then
Oh.
and then just the way that Balin said that, where they really made a point to be like, do you feel it? Do you feel that presence?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so you think that was pointed to him?
I think Balin might have been feeling Ezra's dark side.
Wow. Wow, that'd be a real big twist if that did happen. And
Yeah, for
holy
sure.
jinkies, would that crush Sabine Wren?
Yeah. And then she would have to fight him. Um, because uh, you know, you're not a Jedi until you confront just like Luke had to confront Darth
Mm-hmm.
to, you
What
know,
can I just ask what is fueling this?
feeling what?
This that he's a dark side user.
Oh, it's mostly just Balin saying, "Do you feel that presence?" And then,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and then I,
So
I
you
did,
think that this planet is a darker side world than a balanced world?
no, I don't think that. No,
Oh, okay.
no,
Okay.
I don't think the planet corrupted him. I think that the absence of a teacher, he wasn't ready. He wasn't a full Jedi, I don't think, when he left.
No, he was not.
And that's like the wrong time to be on your own because you're susceptible to the dark side. And it's possible that while he was there without a teacher, a real teacher, that maybe the witches got a hold of him, Thrawn could have got a hold of him,
Mm-hmm.
or just his own internal. being marooned on this island corrupted him, but not necessarily the island itself, just having no contact with the support system of his teachers. So
Interesting. Ooh, wow. That'll be fun if that's true.
yeah. And didn't his eyes creep you out? Like they just seem so unnatural and uncanny.
You know what? I didn't think anything of it. So I'm gonna probably I was gonna go back anyways and watch it again, but um yeah, I did not think anything of it. Before I forget, how
Hmm.
cool is Captain Enoch? And how cool is that Roman style face mask
Hmm.
over his uh,
Stormtrooper helmet.
stormtrooper helmet?
Tell me what you liked about it.
So when he turned around, that was and that whole thing was very Roman-esque. That gold
Hmm.
faceplate thing, that was very much a Roman gladiator kind of,
Hmm.
or a,
Yeah.
Roman theater or, mask that I thought that was really interesting and really different and creative actually. That,
Hmm.
because they've been stuck here, that they've kind of had to been, you know, they've kind of had to scrap to survive, I guess.
Yeah, and it's fitting with the fate sisters, the Night Sisters, who is like a Greek mythology. Um, it seems like that was like a big theme for this episode
Oh.
because I think the sisters, the three Fate sisters, are said to be the daughters of Night. Like if Night was personified, they're the daughters of the Night, and
Oh.
they're literally called in Star Wars. They're called the Night Sisters, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
and then they talk about the threads of fate, and clearly to me that's a reference to the three Fate sisters.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Is there a reason, am I not remembering this, of why they're allied with Thrawn?
Um, hmm. They said something in this episode about them wanting to get off the planet, the
Right,
sisters.
right.
So I wonder if he's literally just transportation for them.
Interesting. It's a relationship of convenience.
Yeah. He needed them to send the signal
Yes,
to Morgan.
yes.
They need his transportation.
They just need a ride.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but that's their home planet though, right? Isn't that their
I think it's their like ancestral home
it's the
planet. I don't
ancestral home. Okay.
I
Right.
don't think it's their like where they want to live. They want to live where like uh Savage, Darth Maul's brother, what like that area.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
Like
Okay, okay, okay.
how did they get there though? Do you know? Were they there all along? Were they the ones who
I don't that was gonna be my next question. I was like, do you know how they
yeah,
got there?
no, I don't.
Okay. Because my guess was like that they were there all along, but I have no idea.
I don't think we'll ever get an answer.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, um, let's wrap it up. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. If you're listening to this podcast, if you don't know, we also have a YouTube channel where this is being streamed. And you can subscribe to us on YouTube at Captain's Quarters Star Trek Rewatch Podcast. I'm sure if you type that into YouTube, that'll appear. So we appreciate you watching and listening. And until next time, live long and prosper.
And may the force be with you always.
See ya. All right, my man.
Take care,
as soon
buddy.
As I turn this off,
Yep.
it'll cut it
Have
off.
a good night, buddy.
So thank
yep.
you.
Take care. Thank
All
you.
right, man.